In this video, we're looking at what is said here is the #1 selling study Bible. This is the Life Application Study Bible put out by Tyndale Publishers. They sent me a couple here, one in the New Living Translation and the other in the New International Version. And at least on these Bibles, the NLT has more of a green theme inside of it, and the NIV has more of a red theme inside of it, and you can see that with the boxes here. The NLT cover says that it is a black and onyx leather-like cover, and the NIV is a brown and mahogany leather-like cover. Both of them are red letter text for the words of Christ. And looking at the back of the box here tells you some of the features of this Bible, very typical of a lot of study Bibles. And it does say here that this study Bible is the 3rd edition, available in today's most popular modern translations, the New International Version and the New Living Translation, which is the two that I have here. It says the previous edition of the Life Application Study Bible is also available in the King James Version, New King James Version, Holman Christian Standard Bible, and New American Standard Bible. So the Life Application Study Bible is available in a lot of different translations, as you can see. But the newest update is available in these two translations. I'm going to focus on the New International Version in this video, just to keep it a little more simple. They're very similar. I will point out a few differences between these Bibles, but for the most part, they are the same thing. So on the right is the NIV, on the left is the NLT. Just wanted to give you a look at both of these Bibles, their exterior, their color scheme. The NLT is that black and onyx color. And one thing that stands out about this is that there are actually two different textures here. It is a leather-like cover, so it's imitation leather. The leather on the spine and on the back here is a little bit more of a coarse texture to it. It actually has a little bit of green that you can see there. And then on the main part of the cover here, the front part of the cover, is a smoother feel to it and a little shinier look. It also has that perimeter stitching, and it is 2-piece. The printing on the spine here is in silver, and it has a black, I think double-sided ribbon, but just one ribbon, black head and tail bands, and then silver page edges. So a black and silver theme with this NLT Bible. And then the NIV, this is it's brown and mahogany, and you can see it's also 2-piece, but the two pieces here are really the same kind of texture to them, that smoother texture. Also perimeter stitched, and this has gold stamping on the spine with a brown double-sided ribbon and gold page edges. They are both paste down construction, but it is not a paper paste down. It is actually more of a vinyl type material, which is really good. If you're going to have paste down, it's better definitely to have that vinyl type material as opposed to paper. And they are, according to what I've read, Smith-sewn bindings. And I could see actually looking in the back here that there is stitching that you can see in this Bible. So that's Smith-sewn binding there. I do want to take a look at what's in this Bible, talk a little bit about this study Bible. As the cover said, it's very popular, available in a lot of different translations. Before we get to the content, though, it does have a presentation page. It looks very nice. You're going to get this in all of these Bibles. But as I said, this one here, the NIV that we're looking at, has more of a red color scheme to it. Here's the title page. Copyright information. And this says that it was printed in 2021 and is the second printing. Interesting, it is printed in South Korea. So not printed in China, printed in South Korea. There's a look at the contents. And then they have a welcome to the Life Application Study Bible, 3rd edition. Here's a list of the books of the Bible, the alphabetical list of the books. The NIV cross-reference system is in this Bible. That's one difference. The other one has a little bit different cross-reference system, though they both do have cross-references. This has the preface to the New International Version here from the Committee on Bible Translation. Here's the contributors to the Study Bible. This tells about why the Life Application Study Bible is unique. Then we get to the Old Testament title page, which as you can see is all red here. And this shows you some of the features you're going to get in this Bible, book introductions. I like the way that they do these. On the left here, you have vital statistics of the book. This tells you the purpose, the author, the original audience, when it was written, where it was written, the setting, key verses, and key people. So some really good fundamental information about the book of the Bible that you're reading. Then a general overview of the book here, a few paragraphs on that. And then they also have what they call the blueprint, which is just a nice visual outline of the Bible with some nice information there going along with the outline. And then they also have what they call here mega themes. So these are the different overarching themes or special themes that you'll see in the particular book of the Bible that you're reading. And then they, for the book of Genesis here, actually have a timeline. You'll notice right off the bat that for creation, they don't have a date. And I think that really indicates something you're going to see in this Bible, and I'll show you that in a little bit. It does talk here about key places in Genesis. They have maps throughout the Bible. So that's nice, gives you a real good visual representation of the area that you're reading about. What I did want to show you, though, is about the issue of creation, which can be a controversial issue, and this shows you how the Bible deals with it. As I said, it doesn't really give a date for creation there on the timeline, and if you look at this little article here, few paragraphs here, you can see they do address the issue of some of the controversy about how different Christians look at biblical creation. What they ultimately come away with, and you see this also in the study notes, is that Christians do have different views. However, ultimately, it isn't something that should be a very divisive issue. So they take a very non-confrontational approach to some of these controversial issues, kind of a mediating approach, and we'll see that later in the Bible too. So they are saying that creation is important, believing that God created the world is important, as opposed to believing there is no creator, but they're not taking a specific position on the age of the earth or how God created the world. If you see the biblical text, I believe it is in an 8.5 point font. So this is just the regular size print, not large print, but it's a pretty decent size for the biblical text. And then in the center, you have the cross references. On the bottom, you have the notes in 2 columns, whereas the biblical text is 1 column. I don't think this is line matched, but for a study Bible, the paper is adequate. It's okay, and I think pretty readable. They do have different character profiles through the Bible here to tell you some information about key people in the Bible. So you see this one about Adam. So you have all these different character profiles, or what they call personality profiles of different people. As I said, they do also have maps at different places. And they also have other visuals like you see here. So some study Bibles are more word-oriented. In other words, it's just a lot more word information, and others are more visual. The ESV Study Bible, I would say, tends more toward a lot of words in it. This one has some really nice visuals, although every study Bible does usually have a combination of words and visuals. Here's a chart. So again, for visual people, this kind of thing is really nice. I feel like this is not necessarily as theologically technical, maybe as the ESV Study Bible, but it's called Life Application Study Bible. So it's really good for just helping you understand what you're reading and trying to apply it to your life. And again, there's just a lot of good information in here, which is why it's such a popular study Bible. They do have book introductions for every book. Here's another one for the book of Jeremiah. And getting into the end of the Old Testament, there is a section here, the time between the Old and New Testaments. So some interesting information about that historical time period. And then the New Testament title page here, all read again, like the Old Testament title page. As you're in the New Testament here, you'll see that, as they said, this is a red letter text for the words of Christ. So once we start seeing the words of Jesus here, you're going to start seeing red letter print for that. And the red letter here, I think, is pretty nice. It's not too bright or pink or anything. So as far as the printing and the paper and everything, it's nothing amazing, but it's certainly sufficient for what it's trying to do. Certainly very usable. It's not necessarily the best paper to write on. It's not premium by any stretch, but it's certainly fine. And then we get to the book of Revelation. And I like to look at things in study Bibles just to kind of see how they approach different theological issues. And so we looked at Genesis a little bit. Here at the end of Revelation, you can see once again, they take a pretty broad, non-confrontational approach. Overall, the vibe I get of these notes is they're just broadly evangelical in their perspective, not trying to take a particular viewpoint. So you see that here with the issue of the end times, that there are different ways of reading the book of Revelation: the preterist view, the futurist view, the historicist view, and the idealist view. Reminds me a lot of what you see in the ESV Study Bible. I've even noticed that in this Bible, when it talks about the issue of men and women, it takes a pretty, again, broad approach to that sort of subject. Not real hardline position. And even with women and their roles in the church, I would say it's a little bit more of an egalitarian perspective than some people would hold to, than many people would hold to. At the end of Revelation, you have a table of weights and measures. And then I like this. They have a Christian workers resource. Tells you how to become a Christian, how to follow up with a new believer. So some good discipleship materials here. Mining the treasures of the Life Application Study Bible. They have a section here, so you've been asked to speak. So that's to give you some guidance on if you are asked to speak and teach the Word of God. Taking steps to application. They also have here a 365-day reading plan with check boxes for all of the different days. And then they have abbreviations for the master index. Here's the master index. A lot of this stuff is going to be very same, just like you see here in the NIV with the NLT Bible. It's going to be really the same information for the most part. Here's an index to the charts that are in the study Bible, an index to the maps that are in the study Bible, index to personality profiles. So you can find all of the different things. If you have a certain thing you want to look up, oh, there's a certain person I want to find, see what it says, you can look that up, or maybe a certain map you want to look at. Here also is a NIV Dictionary Concordance. The one in the NLT is a little bit different because they are for different translations. And then after that, you have the map section here on glossy cardstock paper. These are actually the Zondervan maps for the NIV. Whereas in the NLT, this is another difference between these two Bibles, you have the Tyndale maps in the back. Still on glossy cardstock, but a little bit different looking than the Zondervan maps. So both of these Bibles are pretty much the same thing with some minor variations. I also want to show you the size that you're looking at here, about 9.5 inches tall by 6 3/4 inches wide, and a little over 2 inches, right around 2 inches thick. And both of these Bibles are pretty much the same dimensions. So that is a quick look and run through of the Life Application Study Bible. In the New International Version is what I was looking at here. Also in the New Living Translation, I showed a little bit. If you have any questions about these Bibles, feel free to leave that in the comment section below or make any other comments that you want to. Love to hear what you think on all these things. Thank you so much for taking a look at these Bibles with me from A Frisch Perspective.